Now this is time for us to see what are the Buddhist insight on how to deal with sickness or how to deal with the mental suffering related to physical illness, especially with the special reference to Sutta Pitaka as we see in the Tripitaka. As we all wish, we all like to be healthy. In early Buddhism, it says Arogya Paramalapa, means health is the ultimate purpose. But unfortunately, things not happen as we wish. There are some things that come into our life that we not planned. Such event is sickness. In Buddhism it says Achintitampi bhavati chintitampi vinasati, means in our real life things not happen how we plan, but sometimes things vanish how we don't plan. So due to various reasons we get sick. Unfortunately, most of us don't know how to deal with this physical illness. So because of that, our suffering becomes double and triple. In order to study about this sickness or illness, in the early Buddhism there are so many terms that we can see if you go through all the suttas. Some of them are roga, vyadi, abadika, abada, dukkita, gilana. These are just only few that I have collected, but we have a lots of such words or terms to talk about the sickness. Now to continue this presentation, I will take the term vyadi. As you know, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which traditionally we believe that the first discourse or the first Dhamma sermon given by the Buddha just after his great enlightenment in Varanasi. The structure of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is what is the problem, why the problem, how to overcome the problem, and the path to overcome the problems. Under the section of the problems, that means sickness or suffering, Vyadi is discussed. So in that content, Vyadi is identified as the aspect of dukkha within the teachings of the Four Noble Truths. Not only that, in order to study about what is this is, when we go through, we see there is a sutta, it's called Roga Sutta. In the Roga Sutta, is talking about two kind of sickness. What are they? Kayika Roga in Pali and Chetasika Roga. Kayika Roga means physical illness. What are the physical illness? All kind of disease or illness that we have in our physical body. That is called a physical illness or Kayika Roga. And what are the Chetasika Roga? Chetasika Roga is mental suffering or mental disorder. Now, in this sutta, Buddha said, if a person maintain their body, there is people we can find who are healthy in the body, but except the enlightened one, all are suffering mentally each and every second. So now I want to discuss about what are the mental suffering related to the physical illness. Mental suffering that's coming from the or related to the physical illness such as disability or serious sickness like cancer or some other illness like burn face or accident. So these are something that visible in our physical body that we are facing some suffering or illnesses. And because of this illness, we become sick mentally too, which means physical illness turn us to suffer mentally also. Now I would like to ask you, which one is actually more painful? Is it physical or mental? Of course, it is mental. Then, in order to study about this, or in order to understand why we suffer, if we take in the academic way or the spiritual way, there is two ways we can see in the primary level, that we are suffering because of cosmic causes or samsaric causes. So what are the samsaric causes or cosmic reasons that we are suffering? That is because avidya, ignorance, or craving, tanha, or inability to understand the theory of the karma, the process of dependent originations. This is why still we are suffering in so many ways, mentally and physically. So what are the mundane, that means day-to-day life? Most of the problems that come to in our life, in day-to-day life, it's because we are unable to see the universal conditions as they are. We always put some kind of label. We see as they appear. For example, you may say, I'm sick. We don't say, it is sick. So finally, it is all about like and dislike. Either we attach, either we detach. Both are the reasons actually why we are suffering. Next step that I want to talk about it, is it only you that's sick? I would say no. Because in the study, in the process of, if we look the world, if we look how the world was happening and will happen, we see there are many people who were sick. There are many people who are sick in the present moment. If we do not see the things as they are, this sickness will continue. So it's not only you that sick. There are many, and if we do not understand the reality, the real cause of this, our suffering will continue. So, to talk about or to study more about physical illness, especially about the physical illnesses, when we go through the Sutta Pitaka, there are a number of suttas we can see. For example, Girimananda Sutta, Mahakassapa Thera Bujjanga Sutta, Chunda Sutta, Mahamoggallana Sutta, Gilhana Sutta, Anatha Pindikovada Sutta, etc. But I'm not going to talk about all these suttas. I will take few relevant important suttas to discuss how to deal with the physical illness or mental illness that coming from the physical illness. This is another list that, as you see how many words are there. This is only few that I have collected, but actually there are many. What are these? Now, most of the time you think Buddhism is only about the mental. Yes, it is only about the mental. It's a priority. But still Buddhism talking about many kind of physical illnesses. Chakkurogo, Ganarogo, Jivarogo, Kaya Rogo means the disease related to seeing, hearing, nose, tongue, body. In simple, hunger, hungry, thirsty. These are the suffering. Cold, head. Yeah. So this is the point now. As I said, I will pick up a few suttas. This is one of them. Anatha Pindikovada Sutta, coming from the Majjhima Nikaya. As you know, Anatha Pindika was the great supporter to the Buddha's time, who was very close to the Buddha and remarkable devotee in the Buddha Sasana. He too got sick. He was sick. When he was sick, he sent a message to the Buddha saying that, come, royal person, he called a royal person, and said, go to the temple and say to Buddha that I'm sick and I worship him. And also remind him, it would be nice, great, very helpful if the Buddha or someone visit me. So the reporter reported these things to the monastery. Venerable Sariputta with Venerable Ananda visited Anathapindika. Once they have visited Anathapindika, Venerable Sariputta said, Anathapindika, I think you are feel well, you are good, you are feeling well, and your pain is reducing. Positive way, he was started talking the positive way. That is how to talk to the sick person, in the counseling. But the answer was like this. Master, I am not keeping well. Master Sariputta, I am not all right. The pain is terrible, it's growing. This is what the Anathapindika said to the Venerable Sariputta. Very sad, very painful. So listening this, and Sariputta knowing that Anathapindika was the wonderful person, great supporter, we must help him to see the things as they are, to overcome this suffering really. Then he said, King or Anathapindika, do not cling to your body. Do not cling to your suffering. Train your mind not to cling to your body. Like, this is my eye, this is my ear, this is my nose, this is my tongue, this is my consciousness, this is me who is suffering. So in other way, what he did is actually train him not to attach to the body, but to see the things as they are. So that is called Indriya Sangha. One point. The second point is, now you know that Mr. Amblin was talking about, there was a doctor who was sick. There was a monk, or Venerable Vivekananda said he was monk, he got sick. Not only he or there, in the Buddha's time there were so many monks, noble person and the normal person was sick. Buddha, Anathapindika was sick. Not only that, even the Buddha was also sick. In the Gilana Sutta of Samyukta Nikaya is talking about how or what was happened to Buddha's physical body. This is one of such a statement. It says, once Buddha said to Ananda, now I am old, elderly and senior. I am advanced in 8 years and have reached the final stage of my life. I am currently 8 years old. Just like an old cart keeps going by relying on the straps. What does this mean? Buddha too had so many physical diseases because the body is combination of 4 elements: Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. This is same. Buddha was difference. Buddha not suffer with this physical body because Buddha's mind was very developed, far. In short, if we attach to this physical body, we have problems. We are suffering too much. Our suffering will become double and triple. That was not only the one occasion where the Buddha was sick. You see, I have the list because the slides going here and I didn't put here, but still there are so many. Buddha had a problem with the wind. Vatehi abadiko. Buddha had the wind problem in the stomach. Udara vata abadiko. Buddha had the backache. Once Buddha was preaching the Dhamma and he got the backache. Then he said to the Ananda, Ananda, please continue this Dhamma, preaching Dhamma. And it says Buddha went to take a rest because he was having a back pain. So you see, not only that, there was another occasion. Buddha was waiting near the door without entering the Dharmasala, because in the Dharmasala the monks was preaching. So Buddha was standing a long time, waiting a long time. Buddha had the backache. Then he sat down. So this is what? Sickness is something that happened to everyone. These are the world conditions. This is due to happen something because this is the worldly conditions. Yes. In this slide, what is talked about is both ordinary person and noble person all feel pain, pleasure and pain. But there are the differences. Ordinary person feel 2 kinds of pain, mentally and physically. Physically they are pain and they are attached to their physical pain. Because of that, they are mentally also pain. So that's why in the Sutta it says, Eros Sutta it says, ordinary person sorrow, grieves, lament on his feelings. So he feels two kind of pain. One is the bodily, one is the mentally. But this is the difference where the noble person. A noble person who know the reality as they are, who are developed in the mind, who develop in the mind, they do not attach their sickness. It is like in Eros Sutta it says, first person got the shoot with the second arrow just after his first arrow. It's like the ordinary person gets sick. He got sick in his physical body, but mentally he's sick. He's sick about his sickness. But on the other hand, noble person, he is free from the mental suffering. He stopped his suffer into the physical. So last, to manage physical illnesses and as well as mental illnesses related to the physical illness, or to overcome or recover from this situation, what we can do is, or what the Buddhism suggests is, to train our mind not to clean the feeling, but to see the reality as they are. In day-to-day life, the wisdom coming from the karma theory, understand the karma theory, or realizing the dependent originations, and three marks. Three marks means anicca, dukkha, anatma. If we understand these things, it is easy for us to handle our suffering. So these things can be gained through the listening Dhamma or discussing Dhamma. Finally, the Buddha said, everything is impermanence. And all conditions, phenomena are impermanent. If a person sees this reality with wise, he is the person can be free from this suffering. This is what the Buddha said in Dhammapada. Now I would like to recite this Pali stanza in Pali. For that, I would like you to close your eye and listen this chanting or reciting deeply. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya passati ata nibbindati dukke esa mango visuddhiya. Thank you very much. May you be happy, healthy.